All right. Can you hear me now?
That should get
Let
it.
me know. The mic stand broke right just before we went live. And so I was messing with the thing, trying to get it right. So I apologize for all of this chaos, first thing. It is still not fit right.
Can you
but
hear us?
just let
Dr.?
us know if you can hear us now. Let us
I
know.
was talking. I just wanted. I forgot you couldn't
Yeah,
hear.
you were talking, but that's okay.
Oh
Good,
yes.
good, good, good,
Okay.
good, good,
Yeah.
good, good.
Yvette.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
morning. We started off with a
Sure.
bang, okay?
Laverne. Okay. You got with Kiki with Roger 10-4 on that.
Yes, we just started out with a bang. Immediate right time we went live, the mic stand, which is kind of an arm that extends, it decided it was going to break. And so there we
Now.
were. Anyway, we're glad we're here this morning. We're glad you're here this morning. And we're glad to see all of you. There's Sissy and brother-in-law, Vern and Dee Dee and George and Jill, and Sandra, Kathy, and Deb Rondo. And Sister Chris, hey Sister Chris, and Yvette, hey Yvette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank
Oliver
you.
J.
Thank you.
So-
Oliver's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
Hope
been
you can
on my
hear us,
heart,
Oliver.
Oliver.
Yeah. Let us know, Oliver, that you can hear us.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They let us know. They
That's the
already
old.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Destiny, glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Destiny. All right.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Got a bunch of you here today. Y'all must be ready for some good food today.
Oliver said you came on, but the sound went away again. Now, is it gone now? Let me know if it's gone now. No sound.
No sound.
What's the word?
Well, we're gonna work on it. Just
Well,
hold on.
Look, they can't hear us, so let me see if I can fix it. It's the
Okay.
should be working. It should be working. I'm not sure why it's not working. Oliver says no sound. Everybody else are you not getting our sound either? Oliver said they said they can hear us now. Okay.
Okay. There's
Okay.
Oliver.
So Oliver, I hope it's okay on your end. Okay.
She was here.
We get past all of that. Okay. They can hear us. They said they got sound. Okay. All right. Good. Good.
Can
good.
Oliver hear us?
I don't know if it's something on his end or not. Said they can hear us on
Okay.
Facebook.
Check it again,
and,
Brother Oliver.
well, Jill said they can hear us on Facebook and
Okay.
YouTube. So we're in. We're in. Ah, hallelujah. Okay. If Oliver said he went to his phone and he can hear us
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Oh, I
Cool.
see.
Cool. Well, look. Let's do this. Let's do
Now.
this. Let's get on the bandwagon. Something I want to do here. Jeremiah 29:11.
Now, who is this?
It's a scripture.
Oh, okay.
Jeremiah
I
29:11.
wondered was somebody putting that on there. Okay,
I put that on
you.
there.
Okay.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And I want to add a positive, good future. So this is what God is saying to you. I want you to have peace. I want you to be happy. I want you to have all you need and want. I want you to have confidence. I want you to overcome every fear, every habit, every fault. I want you to feel loved, not just needed. I want you to know someone is here for you. I want you to have the experience of a quiet mind. I want you to know how to make decisions that will make life easier for you. I want you to know how to make decisions that will make life easier for you. I want you to be surrounded with all of the goodness that I am. I want you to have all that I want for you. I want you to have only loving relationships. I want you to know your purpose and find meaning in your life. I want you to become heart-centered. I want you to appreciate yourself and see your value. And so it is. And so it is. Okay.
Okay.
You said now.
Yeah, now I was getting ready to say something.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Here is a secret that I found out. If a secret mystery is seen as a definition of something that's been hid, but can be uncovered, revealed. Now, here's something that came to me. I was watching one of the cartoons of Star Wars. I mean, yeah, they're Star Wars, but anyway. One of the side effects that we run into in this dimension is that the mind develops its own identity to survive in this dimension. And in that way, it pulls energy. It pulls energy from our eternal self to believe, for the mind to believe and be unwilling to give up our sense world. The mind or the ego is an illusion in these areas of the ego. And what happens to us is that the reason why it says walk in the spirit, not after the flesh, is because something becomes addicted to the belief that the five senses is who we are, and constantly, if we don't function well in this dimension or move in the right direction, that God cannot hear us and will not respond to us. And that's where a lot of teaching comes from in the church when it says, or when they say, here is the way you can get God to hear you. And that doesn't sound solid enough to me, or simple enough, put it like that. You got to find out how to get God's attention, or to get God, or to hear or find out how God talked to you so you can hear him. Now, think about this now. If you want to use your mind, use it for this. If he's omnipotent, omnipresent, eternal, no beginning, no end, and he also, it says in the book that he's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. If he's the beginning and the end, then he's everything that the beginning is and everything that the end is. Mm-hmm. Which means this thing that says God won't hear you unless you find out certain strategies to say to God, and he'll hear you. Then we say, God hear not sinners. Now, that means that God's ears, or his ability to perceive, is very limited. And his potential to respond to us is flawed, and he has a problem. Now think about this. God is who he is without any limits, the unlimited identity. And even that statement, unlimited, is nowhere close to saying what he really is, which means if we are born of him, or just said more simple, if we all came from him, then that potential of omnipotence, omnipresence, and able to hear and perceive with no problem is inside of us. Okay.
So basically, what I hear you summarizing, or I should say, trying to give us a detailed example of, or truth about, is that God is not hard to approach.
No, he's not
And-
not deaf.
And God is not unapproachable. And we've made, in our religious mindsets, we've made God seem as if we had to qualify in order for to get a response from God, or to have God's attention. And now we're realizing in our oneness understanding that there is no possible way God would not know what's happening here.
That's true.
There is no possible.
Even in a soundproof sound booth, he can hear it.
Well, in more than hearing us, God is in the event as us.
Yeah. So, okay. I like that. I like
so
the way you said
now that. There is no
in the event.
There is no qualification. There is no eligibility.
Wow, that's good.
There's simply knowing that the love of God is here.
I want you to say that again. In the God is in the event.
God is not hearing us about the event. God is in the event as us.
I like that. God, I like that. Ooh.
As us.
I'm going to write that down.
But we don't.
God's
not just hearing about the event from us. God is in the event as us. And so we forget that. We tend to think that we've got to get a response from some remote God. Even though we say God is in us, within us, we still feel like we cannot get God's attention, and we feel like we need God's attention. But God's attention is our attention on the event. And we forget that in our oneness. We forget that. And start to think we're an autonomous being without being with God being here. And I know I'm using words.
That. He is in the event.
I'm using words, but it's difficult sometimes to say what is true.
Now, here's the addiction. Let's say, Leslie, I see you on here, and just say your dad, and everybody's in the medical field working with your dad, and you got family members coming in helping to take care of your dad. And sometimes it looks like when certain things take place in the physical world, like it has happened to your dad, it seems like you are in a crisis, or he's in a medical situation, and maybe God ain't in it because he hasn't healed your dad, or thing like that.
Well, yeah, and we tend to think that God isn't responding or paying attention because the event itself is happening.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we expect our lives, and this is crazy, but we do. We expect our lives to be smooth sailing all the time. And when it's not, then is when we think God is not there or present or in it. And we've got to get God in it. But not.
I heard you say something that sparked me. We think. The mind is thinking.
Yeah. It's the habitual thinking.
That's the addiction.
Of being human. It's the habitual human thinking that we've got to get God involved. And I thought about the situation in the scriptures where it talked about Jesus in the boat, and then the storm came up and he was in the bottom of the boat sleeping.
Yeah.
And the rest of the people were trying to struggle keeping the boat afloat. And they said, "Don't you even care? Don't you care?" They had to go wake him up. "Don't you care that we're in this situation? Don't you care? Can't you just wake up long enough to fix this thing?" So this is how we are.
But he was in it.
God was in the boat with
Even
him.
though he was in a different place, he was still in it.
Jesus was in the boat with
Even
him.
though they was up there and
So
didn't
if the
recognize him.
boat went down,
and-
Jesus would have went down with the boat. So that in itself would tell you that if Jesus is in the boat and the boat's about to sink, Jesus isn't going to sink.
And listen to this.
Jesus walked on water.
Yeah,
So
and he woke up. What was going on woke him up.
they woke him up.
That was it. They woke him up.
Their fear of going down.
But what woke him up was the event.
Yeah, the event.
Yeah. Now that tells me right there.
But this is what
Go ahead.
that I want to make. Jesus was in the boat. He's in your boat now.
Yeah, you are his boat.
So no matter how rocky the storm gets, you have to remember Jesus walks on water. So nothing can happen to you that Jesus or God doesn't know about. And God is not in.
That's right.
That's also in with and as you.
That's what I hear people say. God ain't in this. God ain't that.
But we want a certain manifestation.
Now that's a different story.
And we want God to intervene.
This is good.
Even though he's aboard, we want God to intervene. And when we don't see God intervening, we assume that he is not responding, or it is not responding, or love is not responding, whatever, how you want to call it. We assume that we're in it by ourselves. But that is not true. So knowing this, that the human condition is up 1 minute, down the next. Up 1 minute,
now that's human.
Down the next. Up 1 minute, down. That's the human condition. So God doesn't see it as urgent. It's just the down time.
Yeah.
It's not the up time, it's the down time. So we now have to adapt and accept being this human entity. And that's one of the side effects. That the down time. That's right. One of the side effects. So we want instant answers. We want instant intervention, not realizing that whatever takes place in the end is going to be for all of our good.
That's right. There you go.
Now that and then knowing this too, that in my pre-earth existence, in my pre-earth mind, in my divine mind, my infinite mind, before coming into this human existence, I chose all of this. I chose it.
Let me show you.
I collaborated it and chose this.
I heard it said, all of us, before we came here, some of us, let's say, if I was living in Winston-Salem, which we were, and moved to Kernersville, or if I was in Winston-Salem, born in a certain place and moved to another location, I'm still in that place or that location, which means when I make a move from one place to another, I have to move into a change of conditionings. Adapt.
We have to adapt.
So now we move to Kernersville. We're still on earth. We're still in a house. It's a different location. That means that even though we may have different events to take place, God automatically is in the event. But see, we think that God is not in it because he don't do something about the event or change the event or speak to you about the event. That doesn't mean that he's not in it. It's just that the event is not enough to respond to him, or whatever you want to call it.
Each event that happens that we see as an adverse situation is really change about to take place. And we resist change. When someone is in our lives, let's just take for a loved one, for example, people who are family or spouses or whatever, we've lived with them. They've been a part of our human life. They've been a part of our lifestyle. They've played a major role in in our lives, and then something happens to them. Either they get sick or they may cross over and transition. That we don't realize, we see it as something's lost, something's taken away, or something's about to be taken away. But what we don't understand and don't see is that it is the beginning of change. It is the beginning of change. So now we resist the change that's happening. We see it as an adversity. We see it as something that's bad, but it's really change taking place. And
let me share something with you right quick before I forget it, if you don't mind.
okay.
This morning, I was walking baby girl and taking her out for a morning ritual. And when we got to the corner, there was a lady coming toward us on the opposite side of the street. And she was pushing a little baby in a baby carriage. All of a sudden, baby girl was pulling on the leash to get over there. And I told the lady, I said, she likes children. She likes baby. And the mama or whoever it was told the baby to turn around and look. And that here's the pretty dog. Said, look. And so she turned, and the baby wasn't afraid of baby girl or anything. But baby girl fell in love with the little baby just that quick. He went to smelling the baby and checking the baby, checked the mama out to see if she was okay. And she automatically adapted to the no harm, no danger. And I told the lady, then the baby, that her name was Baby Girl. And I said, Baby Girl talking to the baby. And baby girl just had a good time. She smelled her. I said, she's okay. She's good. And baby girl, so when she stopped and come back to me, I stopped her. She seemed, I said, stop. I said, you did good. She listened. She automatically at that moment, her instinct adapted her to no harm of that child, no danger, but nothing but complete confidence.
Now, this is the thing, and I like what Jill is saying. I'm going to respond to it in just a moment.
That's about her time. Ooh, glory be to God.
In that incident that you're talking about, there was a lot going on in the world of the mind. The mind had to, in the dog as well, and in the baby, and in the mother, and in you, the mind had to make an evaluation. It had to come to a conclusion. It had to assess whether or not this was a dangerous thing. It had to interpret the communication between,
and she did it quick,
between the dog
instantly.
And the baby. Well, I'm not saying she did it. I'm saying the mind.
The mind, yeah, okay.
The mind was doing its job.
Yep. Yeah.
And then it concluded this is not a dangerous situation.
Yeah, just that quick.
Right. But sometimes the mind will misjudge.
Yeah.
And tell you it's a dangerous situation when it is not.
And you know what? Whenever we get a package on the porch or something in the mail or something different than what she's used to seeing it out, the first thing she want to do is to smell it. Yeah. And she'll smell it on both sides and check it out to see if it's in danger. Right. If it's something wrong with it, she'll turn her head away from it.
Right. So her mind, the dog's mind, works just like ours. It has to evaluate and come to a conclusion whether something is good for us or harmful to us. So our mind, this is the job of the mind. It is to let us know after making its judgments and going through its assessments, it has to determine whether or not this is a situation that will help us or a situation that will harm us. Sometimes it will determine that it's something that will harm us when it is nothing more than an opportunity or the beginning stages of change coming in our lives. Now, I want to continue with this because I don't want to miss what I'm about to say. We have looked at adverse situations as if they were something that should not be happening. But in fact, they are not. That's change knocking on your door for something else to take place.
That was a near-death experience that I looked at and observed. And she was told on the other side, and this is not even about church or anything, she was told on the other side exactly what was going to happen to her when she came to earth,
Mm-hmm.
and how she was going to be born and all that. And it was discussed with her of the suffering that she's going to have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And in heaven, before even the dimension she was transferring from to come here, might have been many, many lifetimes in that same suit.
Mm-hmm.
She found out that she had to make a choice to come here because what I found out in the infinite identity that we are, we can look from the other side over here or into this dream world, whatever we want to call it, and we can agree in our essence to come here and be through and go through any situation, don't care how rugged and mean it is, even the wars that they're having in the East,
Mm-hmm.
and those children that are dying, they knew before they came here in their divine self that they were going to have to leave like that.
Yeah.
So that tells me right there that there's a part of us. And another thing is this: I got to share this with you. This is good. I have mentioned before about a leak of water was running under our house, and I could see where the water was coming in, but I couldn't find a way to stop it. I put plastic down 2 or 3 times, it didn't do anything. But one day I was up under there, and somebody said, "Dig for the water table." So I dug down into the dirt, and we could stand up, and that's part of the under the house, and I could see that the water table was deeper, so deep that it wasn't necessary for it to come up to show where the water was coming in. But the water was coming in from somewhere else where I wasn't digging. So while I was finding the places where I thought the water that was flowing down began to, my inner self picked up on the language of the water. The water said,
The spirit of the
the
water.
spirit of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, when I started digging in a certain place and started opening it up, the water said, "That is all I wanted." He said, the water said, "I didn't want to cause a problem under your house. What I wanted to do was find an outlet."
Well, and it goes back to what I was saying. And we've had experiences like that before of
Mhm.
finding the spirit of that thing and
Mhm.
realizing what it's
The energy
communicating,
of it.
what it's communicating to
Yeah,
you.
what it's saying.
Yeah, what it's communicating. And so that was an opportunity, or that was change knocking on our door. Something had to be changed. It looks like an adverse situation,
Yes.
but it was change knocking on the door
Yes.
saying this needs to be changed. Something needs to be changed. And so, or something will have to be changed. So it's important that we realize that these are not just events happening to us that we don't like. That
I've had to repair door latches on the house here because when you shut it, it wouldn't completely release the latch
Mhm,
to hold the door shut.
mhm,
And so what I had to do was find out what was going on with it. So what I did was find out that the door needed adjustment. So
mhm,
as I adjust the
mhm.
door, I began to find out that the reason why that latch wouldn't work is because the door latch was telling me that it's not in a comfortable
And it
place
wasn't lining up.
and it wasn't
It
lining
wasn't
up.
lining up.
So I lined it up. This
So
tells me,
yeah,
line
so
up.
that also tells, this is, we're talking about the human condition
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Live life in the
yeah,
earth plane, in this
yeah.
earth plane, requires adjustment,
That's right.
constant adjustment,
Yeah. Woo.
constant
I feel
change,
preaching inside of me.
constant fluidity. It
Mm-hmm.
cannot be static.
Mm-hmm.
It will never be static.
Mm-hmm.
We try to make it
Yeah.
static, but it'll
Yeah.
never be static,
Mm-hmm.
ever. So even when we have financial situations come up, it's calling for some change.
It's telling you. It's
It's
speaking to you.
saying make an adjustment.
Yes. Woo. Glory. Hear my
Make
mama.
an adjustment.
Woo.
If
Glory.
it's a sickness, it's calling for change. It's
Mm-hmm.
saying make an adjustment. If it's someone that you lost in your life, it's calling for change. It's saying make an adjustment for this person being gone. So
Mm.
it's asking us,
It tells us.
it's telling us, it's
Yeah.
making a request.
It's not saying, oh, wiped out. It's saying this is happening because there
Something needs
has to be adjusted.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let me go back. They've been giving us some comments. So
glory.
Jill said this that when we were talking about some things. She said God sees as we see, hears as we hear. It's an impartial view
and listening as we listen.
Listening, non-judgmental manner. Yeah. And then she said this, hey, Pastor Norman, he's here this morning.
Yeah, he's good.
And Jill said also this, accepting that change is continuous helps with non-resistance. Amen. Seeing life as an adventure helps. Yes.
I like that. Miss Jill, that's real tasty. Put that on this. That's more than a, what do you call it? Wagyu steak? I'm
not into Wagyu. So.
It's a good, what my metaphor is that it is good information.
One of the best top cuts
of meat. You know that.
Lynette, hey, sweetheart, she's here this morning. She says, what about tuning in like to abundance, still seeing yourself as a co-creator? Exactly. But it's saying in your financial struggle, it's saying make an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's saying there's an adjustment that has to be made. Now, hey, Cheryl.
Oh, Miss Cheryl,
how you doing, darling?
Good to see you.
I heard about your mom, and I've been praying with you about your mom. They said good morning.
And that event is speaking to you.
Yes. So
and God is there.
The event. Remember the event.
I feel the presence of God all the way around her now.
The
right
event.
there, right in the stomach and everything.
Well, let's go ahead with it.
Did
you feel it around
I feel. When I didn't all of a sudden just all over me. I can feel the presence, sense, and know the presence of God is all over her, all around her. Whether she was over here, over there, anywhere. Oh, glory! I can feel the presence of God, and I see an angel coming to your mom, and there's something of a mixture of a substance that looks like butter, but it's really eternal. It's almost like pollen, or not pollen, but what's called is bee pollen, and it's some type of food that the angel is serving your mom, and it's real sweet and has a smell of roses, and it is a presence of very sweet, gentle presence of God mixed up in some type of a dose of it. It's some kind of like an angel got a spoon and it's giving her
the balm of Gilead.
The balm. That's a good word to say. And you are in a good place, Miss Cheryl, but it doesn't seem like. And if you are in a good place, then God is in that place in your form.
One of the side effects of human existence is that we try our best to make everything that we want to remain.
Yeah.
We want it to stay the same.
Yeah.
Everything that makes us feel good, we want it to stay the same. But that is not life in the earth plane. Life in the earth plane requires constant adjustment.
Constant adjustment.
And we know that when we're little babies, because we have to make those adjustments.
That's right.
In order to become adults. But when we become an adult, we try to use every tool we have to make everything stay the same. Just stay like this. I got it like I want it now. Just stay like this. Or I don't have it like I want it, so I'm going to try to make it like I want it. But it's calling for adjustment. So, and we are learning this in our getting older, in our senior years. We have to make constant adjustments.
That's right.
Constant adjustments. Like going upstairs is not the same.
Yeah.
And we have to adjust how we go up the stairs. And yet some people will say, well, you need to get a house where there are no stairs. Well, why not look at it this way? The stairs are really keeping our legs strong.
That's right. That's right.
So, yes.
Well, we could do some good exercise up downstairs.
There are pros and cons.
You know, there's some people go to stadiums and run up and down the stairs and where the bleachers are.
Some people go to the gym and get on that thing that's nothing but a stair.
Yeah.
So it's taking a lot of a change at looking at life, your world view. So I said on last week to bring the illusion into the truth. So when we look at the events or the situations that happen in our life, and there are things that we don't like and things that feel bad to us, we immediately want to get rid of them,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that that is our opportunity to change how we see things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Jill said it very well. She said it helps to see it as an adventure,
Mm-hmm.
as an adventure.
Wow.
Now, we in our older age, in our senior years, and going back to
Older
what
age.
older age,
Mm-hmm.
going back to what Sunette said about
Mhm.
tuning in and to abundance and co-creating,
Old age. Huh?
this is something that we staring in the face of.
Yeah, that's true.
There is no certainty in our income at this point, is there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No certainty. We can't say we definitely will have this amount next month.
That's right.
We can't say that I know that I can't even put all my bills on automatic.
I mean,
Like,
I'm wondering now how in the world we keep going.
Well, no, but yeah. But I can't even put our bills on automatic because I'm not sure that money will be there at that day. We are having to make constant adjustments.
That's right.
Not only that, it's change knocking on the door saying, okay, something may not always be there to bring you income.
Uh-huh.
It's asking for a change. It's asking us to make changes in how we do things, what we do, and how we do. And this is all a part of adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a part of the adjustment.
Now, like for instance, I got to go in the morning at 8:30.
You got to have another procedure to help you get some relief for your back.
Mm-hmm. Now, I went the last time.
And you're doing much better.
Doing much better. Yeah. And the doctor said I have to come off all antibiotics. That's an adjustment. That's a change. And I have been off it for 2 weeks. So I go for the procedure. They're going to put me on anesthesia in order to do the injection, which means I'll have to recover from. But all of these are adjustments that has to be made.
Let me give you an example, a real good example. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've been on a weight loss journey.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, not being real strict on ourselves and everything, mm-hmm. but we've been really focusing on our weight and not being too heavy. So anyway, I asked the Lord, I said, please help me to get rid of these cravings. Mm-hmm. It's not that I'm hungry, but my mind wants certain foods because mm-hmm. it makes me feel good. And I'm addicted to the taste. Okay, so here we go. I've been asking that and struggling with the willpower. Don't tell me you got the willpower to just drop it, because I didn't. And so trying to get over the sugar cravings, I tried all different kinds of things to do that. So when we got COVID this last time, the two of us, mm-hmm. after the COVID left my body, I was left with a bacterial infection in my sinuses. Mm-hmm. that required me to be put on an antibiotic.
Right.
Okay. When I got put on the antibiotic, and I just finished that antibiotic a couple of days ago, mm-hmm. it caused me to have what they call a yeast overgrowth in my mouth. They call it thrush. Mm-hmm. So when I got thrush, I had to be put on an antifungal. Now, all of this is going on, and I'm thinking, in our minds, I don't want to have to go through all of this. Well, couldn't God just heal me of it, Mm-hmm. But all of this happening, and then when I had to be put on the antifungal, I had to rinse my mouth with this particular medication, mm-hmm. and I cannot eat sweets. Mm. It was a requirement. Mm-hmm. In order to get rid of that, I had to quit eating sweets. I had to quit drinking sweets. Mm. So for the last 2 weeks, I have had no sweets, maybe minimal amounts of sweets. Mm-hmm. In the process of that, mm-hmm. I lost 5 pounds. Mm. My prayer was answered through an adverse situation. But it required
an adjustment.
It required adjustment. And sometimes you can't make the adjustment just on willpower. That's so right. There has to be something to kick you into gear and it has to be something that's adverse sometimes.
Now we've said
that's
this is
amazing.
good. This is
That's
good.
amazing.
And you can't.
So I might be riding around on a tire in my car where I need tires. We call them maypops.
Yeah, that'd be so thin you would have to rub turpentine on to keep the bugs from biting.
Maypops. So I may be riding on maypops
anytime
and
may
need
pop.
some new tires,
Mm-hmm.
don't have any means of getting it. But one day that maypop actually popped. We've been praying, saying, Lord, please keep my tires, don't let them go. And then one day that maypop pops. And somehow or other, when that maypop pops, you find the means to get a new tire. It's all adjusting. It's all life is adjusting. Just life adjustments. And Oliver said this, and when we accept what is and don't resist, our path is perfect. Yes.
Let me share something with you, Oliver. I'm sitting glad you said that. I found out that when I used to go to the swimming pool, my brother and I, we used to walk miles to get to the swimming pool over on the other side of town. I got in the water. I could swim underwater as long as I got air and hold it. I could go anywhere underwater. But when we went over there and took the classes, they said the first thing I learned to do is float.
It's relax.
So here I am standing in the water, and I fall over in the water to relax, head down, and all that. And my legs go down, or some other part go down.
Fear hits you.
And there we go.
Yeah.
And I'm trying now. Here I find it out. Also, I found this out. I'm out in the garage.
But before you move that, before you go further, what stopped us from floating was the effort.
Yeah.
To remain on top of the water.
I had to find out what effort was and what it looked like and felt like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out in the garage sawing, and the blade is cutting a piece of wood, but I wanted to go a certain line. So what I had to do was stop trying to force it to go through that cut, but take a deep breath and relax and let the saw do the blade do the work. I'm trying to help it by pushing.
You had to let go of the effort.
That's right.
You had to let go of the effort.
That's right.
And so a lot of us are really putting forth a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Trying to recreate or uncreate something that's happening. And we don't realize that what's being required is to rest.
For months, a year, I searched for the right sewing machine head for a table to sew heavy material like in car seats. I got this little Kenmore thing. It started out, and I popped needles, sprayed them all over the house and under the house, trying to figure out why this machine won't sew heavy stuff. It wasn't designed for it. So long story short, the Lord led me to a man named Mr. Jones down in Lexington. And he said, Mr. Jones has got a sewing machine for you. And I said, what? So I found Jones Sewing Machine Shop. It'd been years ago. I went in. I said, Mr. Jones, I said, the Lord sent me here and told me you had a sewing machine for me. Now that 111W, 104, 105 is back there in the back. I said, I want a 111W, 155, something like that was real popular then. And so what I actually did, I said, look, I'll take it. He sewed with that head because it was made, it didn't have reverse on it. I had to turn the cloth around. But when I hooked that thing up and got the right tape, even the table was designed, have the original stuff that God told me to go and find. That sewing machine head is still back there, and it was sewed through any kind of material, vinyl, leather, anything. But the only thing is, when I get in pants, making pants like I do, if I try to use, which I'm doing now, try to use a heavy machine on light material, it won't do it because it wasn't designed for it. You were designed from the original essence to operate like an infinite being. When we came to this dimension, or where we came from another dimension here, and this may be some of us last evolution.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And then many of you, now you got to go back to the mind of Christ, because the mind of Christ had to give up a certain amount of light energy in order to allow itself to work in these finite bodies. We've been through this many times. I heard it said from one near death said, "You've been through death many, many times, more than you can count in the finite world." And then that releases you. Fear has a lot to do with swimming and drowning. Fear has a lot to do with you trying to make something happen.
Thank you. Fear is what has really made this message of creating and manifesting.
Now you're talking.
Popular. So it is our fear. But I wanted to say this, going back to the weight loss thing that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my sister. Now she'll have to give me. I think she said this, that she and her husband is Brother Carr, my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
He has. I always looked at him as a very disciplined person when it came to how he took care of his body. So he will not eat a lot of sweet stuff, and he only eats once a day, and he's doing kind of his own intermittent fasting thing. But sisters can explain it better than I can. But she said they cut off. He says he won't eat anything sweet because he turns if he eats it, he'll turn his sweet button on. And now, if I said it wrong, sister, you type it in. It turned his sweet button on. So now, since I haven't had any sweets, my sweet button has been turned off. I don't want anything sweet. It's like I'm not craving anything sweet. It's like if I eat anything that has any sugar in it, it's sweeter than I normally would think it is. So I don't really want anything sweet. So my sweet button has been turned off. I think she said a sweet button, whatever. It's turned off. And so if I eat anything else that's sweet, I might turn that sweet button back on. So I'm just saying, the adverse situation brought the answer to my prayer. The sweet pocket. She called it the sweet pocket. His sweet pocket. He turned his sweet pocket off. So if he eats anything sweet, he'll turn the sweet pocket back on, and it'll start to want to eat. And this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned in the process of this. What causes us to crave sweets in particular, breads, starches, those kinds of things, and pastries and candies, what causes us to crave those things is the yeast in our body. The yeast in our body it thrives off of sugar.
That's right.
So it longs and craves sugar. So the craving that you think you're having is actually the yeast itself asking to be fed.
Now I'm going to tell you this, and this is about men. There are men that don't understand what I used to ask the doctor when I went to him. I said, "What is the definition of pelvic floor stress?"
Why are we going to talk about that?
I'm saying this because there are a lot of men don't understand that men have the same problem, and that's why a lot of men don't understand in the anatomy why they are having trouble with pain in that lower extremity or a discomfort area in the skin. And I found out after investigating like we're doing now, I found out that a man can be in the shower and rub too hard on certain areas in that area, and the skin, not knowing that the skin could be thin and cause even.
You're so graphic.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
You're painting such a picture. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I didn't realize that until I realized that I was being too rough on myself. Now, you can be the same way.
Let's erase that picture. Go
well,
ahead.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
You can do the same thing in your daily walk about your communication with your infinite self. You can be too hard on the judgments against yourself and try too hard to try to find out what God's will is, to where you're frustrating your resting position or your relaxing, let go position because you're trying to force something to happen.
Exactly. So I'm learning that it's not force that we need, it is power that comes through. And it is the power of grace that comes through. It's the power of non-resistance. And this, I've said this before, that in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus's method of spiritual warfare,
methodology
of spiritual warfare, was not aggression.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It was not.
Oh, that's good.
It was not
That is
aggression.
good.
It
Mhm.
was surrender.
That is good.
It was surrender
Mhm.
to what is.
That is
And that
good.
goes back to what Oliver just shared.
Hmm.
It was acceptance to what is and non-resistance. And that is the path to perfection.
I remember when my aunt used to be ride in the car with certain people, be going from down on Church Street in Winston up to her sister's house. If she got in the car with somebody and they were driving crazy and wild, she'd be sitting on the side. I'd be in the middle, and she's sitting on the passenger side. She'd be just a wiggling and woo! She can't stand that fast driving, and she turn and twist and wiggle. And
it reminded me of when I
she
took.
about to push the seat floor, push the floor out, and they come to a stop. She let go. Ooh, then you take off again. She go to wiggling again.
You reminded me of when I took driver's education in school.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you take driving education
Yeah,
in school?
Mr. Manning. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was already
It
driving,
was
so I passed the test.
Mr. Matthews for me.
Matthews and Manning. Yeah,
And
they come over. Mhm.
I got in the car and I was driving,
Uh-huh.
but he was sitting in the passenger seat,
Uh-huh.
and he had his own set of brakes on that side.
Oh, Lord.
They literally had another set of brakes. If I didn't make the right move, he would have brakes. He would put brakes on.
Yeah. But I did the same thing driving. They want you to do a quick stop, a road stop, emergency.
Yeah.
And I was riding my uncle's Buick, and he said make a quick stop, or what they call a road stop. So I just come to a stop really easy. He slowed down. He said, "No, that ain't what I want." He said, "I want a road stop, a emergency stop." I said, "You do?" So I shot down on that thing and took off, and I hit it, and he come up out the seat.
I did something similar.
He came out. He said, "Wow, that's one. That's real. You got it."
Look. I did something similar because I had a whole bunch of books in the back of my little Volkswagen, my little white Volkswagen.
I remember that.
And he was riding with me, and I was trying to get my license, and he said, "Make a sudden stop."
Yeah, that's right, sudden stop.
So I did, and all the books came up to the front. So when we got back to the place, he said to me after he got out the car and looked at me, he said, "I'm going to give you your license because I don't want to ride with you."
Well, when I got back to the driver's place, and after I got my license, I had my license. So now got back to the place and pulled in the parking lot, and I picked out a parking space, but the parking space wasn't big enough for the car to fit. I went into this parking space. And
that's ironic because that's what some of us are trying to do. We're trying to put our cars in a parking space that won't fit.
I went in between these two cars, and both cars was tight. And I scrubbed the paint off. I think I slid every bit of paint over, and it's scared.
Oh my!
And the driver couldn't hardly get out. I had to almost crawl out the window to get out. And he said, "Sir," he looked at me and said, "Sir, you're not going to get your license today."
Oh my God.
My uncle said, "Boy, I thought you had better sense tonight."
These are real life situations. Yeah. We are here in real life situations. This is the human condition.
You know what I did the last time I went back to get my license again? I found the biggest park space. I parked way down the park. I put it down where nobody was parking. I said, "I'll fix you this time." Then you know what? That thing did something like this. It struck a bell in me.
Oh my God. Listen, we're gonna take off here. I think we made our point.
Yeah, we got it. Bless y'all heart. I'm glad y'all understand.
I'm glad y'all understand us. Yes. Thank you so much.
Glory be to God. We made it. I'll tell you.
So this whole message today, our word to you today is make the adjustments. Go ahead and allow when change knocks on the door, make the adjustments. If you don't know what adjustment to make, then grace and God will show you exactly what to do. Allow it to unfold. Take the steps that you need to take And if you can't take any steps, then you know that God will intervene. It's just a rest. It's a rest to the people of God. And it is what Oliver said, accepting of what is, not resisting what is, and changing your view of why it's there. It's there to for you to make adjustments.
Okay, you guys respond back to us next time. We won't have to go now, but thank you so much. I like that what Renee said, a sweet pocket.
That's what they call a sweet pocket. So I'm going to try to keep my sweet pocket closed.
Yeah.
So that I won't crave sweets anymore.
Well, thank you for tuning in to us today, and we look forward to seeing you on Tuesday again at 7 Tuesday night, and back again to Sunday at 10, 7 and 10. Okay.
Thank you for your gracious support of the ministry.
Yeah, thank you for the gifts that
allowing us to continue with what we do here.
Cash app or mail, either way, it's all right with us.
And take the time right now to hit the like button if you would do that.
Yes, please.
And also subscribe if you're on YouTube and you haven't done that.
Yes.
Share it if you think someone else may benefit from it. Share it and so they can get benefit from it as well. When you do hit the like button and all of that, it pushes us up in the algorithm, so other people will find us. If they're looking for certain content, they'll find us quickly, and social media will push us up to the top, so they'll pop up quickly. And we just thank you so much for sending in your tithes and your offerings to the Cornerstone entity, which is still a virtual church, Cornerstone. And you can text that to CLC Greensboro to 73256. Of course, Jill has already posted all of that in the comment section. I just thought I'd mention it again. And you can go to the website and send your offerings in.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for considering us with your substance, honoring us with your substance, sending us
greatly needed at this
cash
time.
apps and things in the mail. Thank you so much for that. It helps tremendously to keep our minds in the right place. And it's harder to keep your mind in the right place when you're having to constantly think about your survival. So thank you for helping us to survive this human existence and make adjustments. Yes, Sissy says, make the adjustments, allow it to unfold, accepting what is. Yeah, good. That's good. Good. On that note, we'll take off and we'll go ahead and see you on Tuesday. I'm going to play a little bit of Vincent and hoping Vincent's doing well. We'll see you next time.
Okay. See you. Bye.